Thank you for listening to Interview with DJ Nocturna. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'm speaking with Trent Jeffries, Chicago Glampires, Plasmata. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Yeah, thank you for I know it's Chicago is a different time zone from Hawaii, and it's wonderful to finally connect. I've been wanting to do this interview, and
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of things going on. I know you got some collaboration with some amazing people.
yeah,
Um,
we've been fortunate in that regard.
yeah, you have an EP that just released, right? Well, last year, but then you have was that released last year, right? Portraits of
Actually came out June of 21, so about almost a year and a half ago, I guess.
right. So let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about how you formed Plasmata. I know this was way back when.
Yeah, it's a long story. Started the band in 2005,
Mhm.
and that incarnation of Plasmata was also here in Chicago. And over a couple of years, we worked up some tracks, and we released Lifeblood, which was the first single, and that one got a lot of attention, made it onto a lot of playlists and several compilations. So that was a nice kickstart for us. And over time, we built up a full live set and had a band literally of international musicians. We had players from all over the world here in Chicago playing with us. And we're doing really well until January 2012, when out of nowhere I suffered a ruptured brain aneurysm, which kind
Oh,
of shut things down for a while.
yeah, that must have been hard.
It was, yeah, it was devastating in a lot of
That's
ways.
really scary. Yeah.
One of the ways was that I was down for so long and kind of out of commission that the band members all went their separate ways. So when I came out of the hospital and rehab center about 6 months later, I was basically on my own, but without the ability to play, because brain aneurysms are a tricky thing.
Yeah.
They will sometimes leave you with nothing, or they'll leave you with something. And just happy to be here, I guess, because I beat the odds. But it took a long time for me to be able to um, feel ready to perform and write songs again. And there were a lot of physical limitations as well. My hand-eye coordination was
Yeah.
pretty non-existent. And it took about 7.5 years for me to be able to play guitar again.
So you must have had extensive physical therapy and occupational therapy and all those kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, it was literally to the point where I was starting from scratch, learning how to walk, talk, read, write, feed myself, you know,
Well,
walk
you
downstairs.
sound like you had nothing happen to you. I mean, you sound great.
That's I think it's really good fortune and a lot of intestinal fortitude on my part. I was determined to get back to as close to where I was before as possible.
Yeah, you sound like you're a very determined guy. I mean, I can
Yes, I,
tell because you sound, people with brain aneurysm, if they survive, it takes a while to recover. I know, and it is hard because there's no warning, right?
right. Yeah, it literally came out of nowhere. I just had a physical 2 weeks before that, and everything checked out fine. So, um, knocked me down, but not out. So after a long recovery, I finally got to the point where I was able to play again. I had formed a band here in Chicago called Big Fucking Idiots, which was an old school hardcore band, and did that all the way up until the pandemic. And then we lost a couple of members there. And at that point, since everything was shut down and I wasn't able to work or travel, I really dug down and just started writing what I felt. And I was able to get a couple of songs together, and I sent them over to William, since he's here in Chicago, and asked him what he thought of it. And he said he knew exactly what I wanted to sound like, and he would produce the record. So that started a fabulous collaboration and friendship with him, and resulted in the EP, which we're pretty proud of.
Yeah, and the EP is called Portraits of Pain and produced by William Faith. So
Yes.
this album, you know, uh, the reason that you created this album was because of what happened to you. It's right.
Yeah, Originally, I didn't realize that there was a common thread to the songs, and I was just writing what I felt, not really caring about, whether this is like a certain genre or anything. And I was writing songs and sending them. He was making some recommendations, and once I got them all done, he's like, "What are you going to call the record?" And I said, "I don't really know." He said, all of these songs are about pain," and it never occurred to me until then. I was just writing, literally what was on
Wow.
my. And he said, there's a common thread in all of these songs that deal with certain types of pain, whether it be internal, external, or societal pain. And at that point, I realized that these were all little portraits. So Portraits of Pain was the perfect name for it.
Yeah, it's a great title. Really great title. Now, I know you have really interesting tattoos.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
If
that's why you're called Chicago Glampires, right?
yeah,
So
I've got,
how did you get that name? Where did that come
we,
from?
it came from the fact that I like to have a really good visual with what we do. I've always thought that having a good image and having something for people to look at when they come to a show is very important. So
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think just based off of all of my influences from the past, very heavily into the vampire subculture and the whole aesthetic, and really starting off way back when with Kiss, and the New York Dolls, and
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
um, it kind of morphed into a glam vampire type look. So then someone just tagged us to Chicago Glampires, which I love.
Kept it. Oh, yeah, it's great. It's totally you. What about Plasmata?
That one, when we were first trying to decide on a name, I wanted something that combined a couple of different visual ideas. So I wanted plasma, which is the main component of blood, and then
Yeah.
stigmata, the wounds of Christ.
Oh,
So,
yeah, totally great.
but
Yeah, totally. I love it. It's like a nice ring, you know?
thank you. Yeah, it's been one that's been memorable. It's I know there are band names where when you tell somebody your band name and they walk away 3 seconds later, they don't remember it. And thankfully, this one's been able to stay memorable.
Yeah. Well, I think it's has a lot to do with I mean, you even got William Faith, which is faith. You have the faith, you got the faith to get better, right? I mean, I'm seeing all of these things like they're all connected. So
Yeah, yeah. In a strange way, there are a lot of like little interconnecting parts that at first glance you don't see, and then once you start kind of digging in a little bit, where William was the bass player in a band called Christian Death, and
yeah.
a lot of what I do is people making people or hoping people will question religion
Mm.
and they're part of it, and big business is part of in it. So like the Christian Death connection is kind of cool also.
And so this EP, which you released last year, you also have some new releases, right? That you also collaborated with Ben Christo. Was
Yeah, actually, we had started after the EP was done. I started thinking about what else we could do with it, and William had offered to do a remix of one of the songs. So I let him pick which one, and he wanted to do Leviathan. And his version, it's a Leviathan aneurysm remix of
yeah, I like that one.
yeah, it's a very death
Great.
rock kind of vibe to it, and we actually performed that version live. So
Oh,
if you haven't heard that one, check that one out. It's on all the platforms, but it's
okay.
a very raw, kind of echoey, aggressive take on the original track. So that one went really well, and a little while later, I had reached out to Ben, who I've known for several years through mutual friends, and sent him the entire EP. And he clung right away to 10 Bells because the song is about Jack the Ripper and about London, and him being in England and having lived in London for a long time. He really wanted to take a run at that. So I sent him the tracks, the stems, and let him do whatever he wanted with it. And what he sent me back the first time is very, very close to what ended up being the final track, I was overjoyed with how he handled it.
Yeah, and what about Aly? Aly.
Yeah, Ally's a friend of mine here in Chicago, and she's on the original track as well. And Ben really liked her kind of gritty, guttural kind of delivery, and he kind of built the song around her vocal. So whereas on the original track, she's doing more of like an echo type vocal or like a response type thing. In Ben's mix, it's almost like a call and response, almost like a dark duet, if you will.
Oh, okay. Wow. Really nice. So did you get back all your all of the feel your feelings and stuff that you might have lost from the aneurysm?
No, there are still like big parts of my past that are gone. I
Remember?
do have I have problems with short-term memory. I've developed some mnemonic devices uh, to help me remember things, but it's a daily struggle. And
Mm.
like I'll run into people that I knew when I was a teenager and evidently knew them really well and didn't recognize them at all. But the plus side is I'm still here and I'm able
Yeah,
to
and you're here
able
and you did something amazing.
look into to maximize what faculties I have and to try to just make music and express myself.
Yeah, and the good thing is that you can speak well. I mean, like I don't. It looks like nothing happened to you at all. So
Yeah, it's
they did a great job.
thanks. Yeah, it was it's pretty fortunate that I was able to make it through to the extent that I did.
Yeah. So I know you have some other singles in your Bandcamp page. You have Homage to the Black and Hers. So
Yeah, yeah. Those are from the first iteration of Plasmata, and we've brought Homage to the Black back as a live track.
mm,
So eventually, I think we may end up re-recording that track just to kind of bring it more up to date. And Hearst we haven't tackled yet, but it is something that's going to end up being part of our live show as well.
okay. And then I know you got a cover there from Killing Joke as well.
Yes, the wait. Yeah, that one was wow. I'm way back in the MySpace days, believe it or
Oh,
not.
wow.
Was when that one came out and ended up getting into a conversation on MySpace with someone who really liked the track. And
MySpace. Wow.
yeah, and then during the conversation, it dawned on me who it was, and it was actually Jazz Coleman from Killing Joke.
Oh,
So I had told him that that we played the song live and that I would love to have his permission to record it, and he said absolutely. He sent me the lyrics, and I sent him the track as soon as it was done before we even released it. And he said that of the two versions of the Wait that were out there, that he liked ours the best, which made me feel great because the Killing Joke is probably my biggest influence
oh
as a
yeah.
musician and as a songwriter. It
Wow,
Yeah, it
that's wonderful.
was
Now
cool to get a badge of honor from him.
yeah. And I know that one of your you also made an appearance in one of your music or something in Mick Mercer's book, right?
Yeah, yeah. Mick Mercer did a book called Music to Die For,
Mhm.
and it's an A to Z list of bands that, in his opinion, were vital to the scene, and if you hadn't heard, that you should go check out. And yeah, he put Plasmata in that book, which was a real honor.
Yeah.
He had messaged me beforehand and said, "Hey, I really like what you guys are doing, and I'd like to include you in my book." And he told me kind of what the book was about, and I absolutely. So yeah, it was really cool to be part of that, and that book is out there for anyone to check out. So hopefully, someone thumbing through those pages who hasn't seen us or heard us before will come check us out based off of that.
So do you have any live I know when you perform live shows you have some other band members in the that does it with you, right?
Yeah, yeah. The live band is Marco. is the guitarist, and he and I have actually started working on some new tracks together. And then Ryan is my bassist. Ryan and I have been friends for a long time. And then Django on drums. It's a really tight unit. And so far, the response has been fantastic from the shows we've been playing.
So do you want to talk a little bit about what you have coming up, or is it kind of like you're kind of low key right now?
I'm actually kind of in a writing phase right now, but we are going to be playing May 26th here in Chicago, opening up for an LA band called Nightclub at Reggie's Rock Club, which is a really nice kind of showcase venue here in the city. And two Chicago bands will be playing that show with us, Iron Years and Bellhead. They're both fantastic bands, and I'm really excited about being on that bill with them.
Wow, very good. So the singles are out as well. You call him the devil, right? With Ben Christo and Aly Jados, right? And
and
the
video,
William Faith remix.
Yeah.
So
So far, response has been really good on that. We've gotten some reviews from websites and bloggers, and they've all been really positive. So I'm really happy with that. The next thing is to just try to get as many people to hear it as possible.
Yeah. Well, big shout out to UTM, Michelle at UTM.
Yes, he's amazing. I've told people over the last couple of years that signing on with UTM is one of the best things I've ever done as an artist.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I love working with him as well.
Yeah, he's really client focused, very attentive, and gets your music and your band into places that you wouldn't normally be able to get into, just on your own. So his reach has been fantastic for us.
Yeah, it's kind of the connection, right, that he has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very well respected in the community as well.
So if somebody wanted to hear your music, what's the best way?
You can go on Apple Music. The EP and the two singles are on Apple Music. Bandcamp has the entire catalog, which includes a couple of the older pieces. And Spotify, I think, has the EP plus the two singles at the moment.
So Portraits of Pain, produced by William Faith, is out now, as well as all the other singles. You Call Him the Devil, with Ben Christo and Aly Jados, and of course the special remix that William Faith did.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Well. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I mean, I'm looking forward to your new music that you're going to be that you're writing.
Yeah, it'll be we'll be coming on with some more stuff really soon. I've got a lot of things that are really close to completion, and I think I'm probably going to be releasing them as singles. Like the next two or three will be coming out as singles instead of waiting to produce like another EP. We'll probably be putting them out one at a time just to kind of keep the momentum going.
What about an LP? Is that in the works down the road, maybe?
We've thought about that, and the general consensus with most people is that, especially in the digital age, the LP doesn't work quite as well. Attention spans and the ability to click, right through songs. The songs after like the second and third song on the record, and unless someone really wants to spend the time with it, a lot of times those get forgotten. So we're going to take the approach of just releasing them one at a time and having them stand alone and doing a video for each one of them as well.
Yeah, because I know you have a video already for some of them, right?
Yeah. So we're going to continue that with doing a video for each of the successive songs that we put out.
Okay. Wow. Well, congratulations on I'm so glad you're back, and you pulled through.
Thanks. A lot more to be done,
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to go yet.
Yeah, no. It wasn't your time, obviously.
No.
But that's great because that's very hard. So you went through a lot. So I wish you the very best with the latest EP and the new music.
Yeah, thanks. And thank you for playing the songs. It's
of course.
important. We appreciate it.
So Trent Jeffries of Plasmata, Chicago's Glampires. All right. Thank you. Hold on one second. Let me just turn this off.
Right.